It was February 19th, 1994, a quiet evening in Riverside, California. Inside the emergency room of General Hospital, nurses and doctors were doing their usual rounds until she arrived. A 31-year-old woman named Gloria Ramirez. She was short of breath, her heartbeat was unstable, and her skin glistened with a strange, oily sheen. She had late-stage cervical cancer, but that wasn't what terrified the hospital staff that night. When nurses leaned in to insert an IV, they noticed something horrifying. Her body emitted a strange chemical smell, not like anything they'd encountered before, sharp, metallic, and almost fruity. One nurse described it as a smell of ammonia mixed with garlic. Another said it felt like breathing poison. The medical team tried to stay calm. They began to draw her blood, but that's when things turned deadly. The nurse who took the sample suddenly swayed, her eyes rolled back, and she collapsed. Seconds later, another nurse fainted, then a doctor. Within minutes, the ER was chaos. People coughing, vomiting, losing consciousness one after another. The hospital had to be evacuated. Dozens of staff members were falling sick, some violently shaking, others struggling to breathe, all because they'd been near Gloria Ramirez. And then Gloria's heart stopped. Despite all efforts, she was pronounced dead at 8:50 p.m. But her death was only the beginning of a nightmare no one could explain. The hospital declared the emergency room a hazard zone. Specialists arrived wearing hazmat suits. Gloria's body was sealed in an airtight coffin and stored away for testing. Meanwhile, doctors who had treated her were hospitalized for weeks. One nurse even suffered bone damage and breathing problems that lasted months. So, what made Gloria Ramirez so toxic? Theories started spreading fast. Some believed her body was producing toxic gases. Others said she'd been exposed to a secret government experiment or a biological weapon. Conspiracy theories flooded the news. The woman who killed with her touch, the toxic lady. Then came the scientific explanation, or at least the one that made sense on paper. According to investigators, Gloria might have used a chemical called dimethyl sulfoxide, or DMSO, as a home remedy for pain. It's a solvent sold in hardware stores, sometimes used by cancer patients to relieve discomfort. When DMSO enters the bloodstream, it can react with oxygen. And under the high oxygen levels in a hospital, it could transform into dimethyl sulfate, a highly poisonous gas. The same gas that caused people to faint, vomit, and nearly die that night. But even that explanation doesn't fit perfectly, because chemical experts later said the transformation needed conditions that didn't exist in that room. And even if it did, it shouldn't have been powerful enough to sicken so many people. So, was the DMSO theory real or a cover-up? Some doctors whispered that this was no ordinary case. They said the smell, the reaction, the symptoms were far too extreme. Others hinted that something supernatural had attached itself to Gloria's dying body, that perhaps her suffering and agony had turned into something dark, something beyond science. Even after her death, strange things kept happening. Workers who handled her body claimed they heard knocking sounds inside the storage chamber. The coroner's office reported that the air around her body was still chemically unusual. The autopsy team could only stay inside the room for a few minutes before feeling dizzy. To this day, no one knows the full truth. Was it chemistry, conspiracy, or something that humanity simply isn't meant to understand? Gloria Ramirez is now remembered as the toxic woman, A name that still sends chills through every doctor who worked that night. A woman whose death defied science and left behind one of the strangest unsolved medical mysteries in history. Maybe she was just a patient, or maybe she was a warning, a reminder that even in the most sterile, controlled environments, death finds its own way to break the rules. So, what do you think? Was Gloria Ramirez a victim of a chemical reaction gone wrong? Or was something darker hiding beneath the surface that night? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because some stories, no matter how real they are, feel far too unnatural to explain.